Good, and you?
Oh, we're changing. Everybody with their name, so we know who didn't get one. Alvina or Athena? Happens all the time. And Lavinia too. And Katrina.
Okay, now on.
Good evening. In the absence of President Balzerini, I will call the meeting to order at 7:02. This is the regular meeting of the Lammersville Unified School District Board of Trustees. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call, please.
Matthew Balzerini,
Absent. Sorry.
Colin Clements,
Here.
Sharon Lempel,
Present.
Shane Nielsen,
Here.
David Pombo,
Here.
and Samantha D. Tiberis.
Here.
Approval and/or corrections to the agenda.
There are none.
I move we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Receiving of public comments. I have no blue cards, so if anyone just didn't fill one out but would like to make a public comment, please step forward. Otherwise, we will continue on. Item 6. Consent items for consideration.
So we have the board meeting minutes. We have warrants, which come monthly, and then we have a set of approved contracts for some maintenance work here in the district. Approval of hires for next school year. Some resignations for staff from last year, and the acceptance of donations in the consent item list.
At this time, I would like to introduce our newest principal, Tara Bell Wilcox. If you'd like to introduce yourself to the board.
Good evening. Thank you for being here today. I'm Tara Bell Wilcox, and I just want to thank you for choosing me to lead Cuesta Elementary School. I have a wealth of experience that will definitely benefit our district. So I look forward to being here tonight just to hear what's going on in the district. So thank you.
Welcome to our family.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome and thank you. I would also like to take a moment to introduce our new student trustee, Samantha D. Tiberis. Welcome.
I would just let everyone know that I warned her she's allowed to speak, and if I'm talking over her, she's allowed to shush me. So, more than welcome to do so.
No, please indicate to me so I can shush him.
Under the table and you're good to go. I move we approve the consent items.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, District Administrative Report, Superintendent's Report.
I just have a couple of brief comments. First of all, one of the teachers who's decided to move on to greener pastures was my own daughter's kindergarten teacher this year, and I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge what I think is the essence of a true educator. Very passionate person, Lisa DiMartino, hardworking, knew everything about the needs of each of her kids' individual needs, and worked amazingly hard at making sure that every kid moved forward in a way that would make them successful in first grade. And also, in terms of being a parent, the amount of communication that she did. She really was a true professional, and I think a good model for all of us to strive for in terms of educators in this field. She was a very dedicated person. We're sad to lose her. But you know what? Greener pastures means she gets to have more fun. So there, good luck to her.
That it?
Oh, the second thing I'd like to say is just our summer school session is going to come to an end and this week, and we're compiling data, and we'll be bringing that forward to discuss with the board. But I do want to say that there's really two stories about summer school programs, and we needed to live it before we would be able to say that live. But the reality of summer school is we invited a large number of kids. A number of them chose not to participate. And I need to let the board know that that's a reality of summer school programs. But when we bring forward data, there are the kids that chose to participate and the kids that did not choose to participate. Mr. Faubert, the staff at the school, the teachers, multiple contacts were made, multiple efforts, electronic, telephone calls, individual calls. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. And so the numbers that we'll bring forward on the successes and the things we learned about our summer school program will be based on the kids that chose to show up. The kids that chose not to show up will repeat the class. And that's a very common practice in every school, high school across the country. But you put things out there and you give opportunities. But I think we've seen a lot of good work. I think some things we'll be tweaking going into next year. But we did want to forewarn you. I don't want you to be shocked at the idea that a significant number of kids opted out. So I just wanted to say that and acknowledge Ms. DiMartino, and that's my report for tonight.
Thank you. District Maintenance and Operations Report, Ms. Kaiser.
It has been an eventful 4 weeks of the maintenance department. As you saw, the number of consent items, the requirement, as I mentioned at the last board meeting, of contributing additional dollars to routine maintenance and the preventative maintenance. Taking a field trip tomorrow to the Wickland Fields because I hear the Gophers are starting to return, and we do, like I said, have an ongoing contract, so I'm going to go on a field trip tomorrow.
Solidify that eviction.
I had a meeting with Turner Construction and Wesley King from NMR. The warranties obviously are coming to an end, but Turner will continue for an additional 2 years on some of the items. So we were meeting today to discuss what type of items would continue under the warranty. And I'll bring some more information back with Wes King about some of the findings that we have going on. And the other thing I wanted to point out, facility use. We've already have multiple requests coming in for next year, and I wanted to make sure and encourage that the school sites put in their calendared items, because come August, September, we're going to be opening up the window for outside entities to rent the facilities. So they don't have the ability to enter any requests now. We were going to wait until the timing was correct. I'm updating the handbook to include the 4 amendments that were approved throughout the year, and then the Facility Use Committee on Monday will take a look at the handbook and note any additional changes that need to be made.
You said they don't have the ability. They can is outside entities, not
Tier
school
1,
sites.
Tier 1, which is the foundations and school clubs and classes, can enter their events. Tier 2A on cannot.
Okay.
Further questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Committee reports. Facilities use, Trustee Nielsen.
As Ms. Kaiser mentioned, the Facilities Committee will be meeting on Monday evening here in this room to discuss the amendments along with some additional items. I encourage everyone who's got some questions about the facilities application process, the program, those members of the public who were at the CSD meeting who heard the CSD encourage their group not to build facilities, but instead try to utilize our facilities. Also come and attend to find out what availability may or may not be available to folks, because the CSD didn't choose to communicate with us about some of these things. A lot of stuff is going to come out Monday night, I think, that's going to be important with regards to use over the next calendar year. I am hoping, it's my understanding from Mr. Balzerini, that members of the CSD will be in attendance, including Ms. Lamb, who is in charge of some of their outside events, but I also believe some board members were invited. In fact, I believe the entire board was invited which would be interesting for me, and I'll enjoy that part of it personally. But for the most part, I do encourage folks to come because realistically speaking, for the next year, I do believe that the handbook changes that we're making and the potential facilities use or availability that might be not available is going to be important to, and it's going to be discussed on Monday night. So I hope we see some members of the public there. That's it for me.
Thank you. I don't believe anybody else has any committee reports at this time.
Summer hiatus.
I do have a point of clarification for staff, if I may. When is it typical to change, if board members are going to change the committees that they are on, when would that typically occur?
I think that's a very forward-thinking question of which we don't have an answer to because we haven't done it this way before. So why don't we make it a discussion item for the first meeting in August, and we'll be able to talk that through.
Okay.
I'll just chime in my experience working with boards in other districts. It's generally done in January when you are welcoming your new board members.
So halfway through the LCAP process?
Well, we don't control when the state picks.
What does Mr. Clements want to participate on?
The good news is the
You wanna talk
LCAP
about
process is
facilities? You don't wanna take my
significantly
spot on
less difficult
facilities?
now.
Dang.
Well, I guess I could transfer, like to that right before the submittal, so somebody else does all the work and I take the credit?
Thinking a horse trading thing, like, okay, I got 2 committees and you got 1, so what if we work this out here?
But I think if board members wanted to trade committee participation, then we would just report it out at a board meeting.
I do
and
like
that would
having
be
it as a
okay.
discussion item at the next
Yeah.
meeting, just because I agree. I don't even know that we've had a rule. We've never really had this many committees before. This is the first year we've had
Yeah.
this many that I can recall, so.
And as I said before, I will be absent at our next board meeting, so you guys can just tell me what I'm doing.
Yay! That works even better.
1, 2, 3, 4.
How many committees do we have?
Oh, you're really involved, Mr. Pombo.
Well, I'm on 3 of them right now, so I guess I could be on the other.
You could squeeze in the other 3 is what you're saying, or
Yeah.
4?
2, 3, whatever it is.
We'll add a new one just for you.
Moving on to governing board reports.
Nothing to report at this time.
Nothing to report, sir.
I will first report, as Ms. Lampel pointed out to me earlier, thank you to the Community Services District and all involved for the 4th of July parade. It's always fun, and as I pointed out, I got the coolest unique car again this year. I don't know how I worked that out. Last year I had the dune buggy. This year I had the Datsun orange, beautiful Giants car, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. I always enjoy the 4th of July parade, and it was interesting for me because the guy who was driving me had never been. And so I said, "You've never driven down Central for the parade and seen this?" And I'm like, this is part of what I love about Mountain House. The streets are just lined with people. It's old-fashioned. It's homey. It is unique to, I believe, our community to have it, and he enjoyed the heck out of it, and I enjoy it every year. So I'll thank them for that. And then secondly, this past weekend, I had the absolute pleasure to attend the Shakespeare in the Park, which was a fantastic event for this community, and the turnout was phenomenal. I would thank individuals, but I know I would miss people. I'll thank the Snyders specifically because their work was phenomenal, and I know I'll miss a lot of people if I name any of the names, so I'll just leave it there. I will, however, add to that the entire time from my seats in the back row, not for any other reason other than the Mountain House elements, I was completely unable to hear. And it had nothing to do with them. It had nothing to do with the facility. It had nothing to do with the sound crew. It had everything to do with the fact that we were trying to have a play in a park. And as much as I love the thought of Shakespeare in the Park, this community deserves and needs a theater. Our high school and our arts students deserve and need a theater. And as much as this board wants to build one, we can't. We're going to need this community to help us find a way to get that done, because that play belonged in a theater. Those students and adults' work belonged in an atmosphere that allowed them to be completely successful so that all of us could hear and enjoy it. And I am hoping that the community hears us when we say, we need your help to get this done. We can't do it without community support, and we've got to find a way to do it. And I'm hoping that the people who were in the same shoes I was in, which was just sitting at the back, I was not even 50 yards away from the stage and couldn't hear a thing with 4 fully functional speakers, couldn't hear a thing, that the community will see this and recognize we have to do something to help our music and arts programs both at the school and in the community. And that's my report.
Thank you. Trustee Lampel?
I wholeheartedly agree with all of your comments. We need a theater. Our community deserves a theater. And what the VAPA group is doing with their little bingos, it's not going to raise enough money to build a theater. They're working their tails off. They're doing the best they can, but it's not making millions of dollars. So I am 100% behind you. And also the July 4th parade, again, honored to be invited, had a blast. I beg to differ. The coolest car was the yellow Mini. Okay.
I second the
you.
yellow mini nomination.
I do have an in with the car's owner. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's always great. But the size of the parade this year, to actually go all the way down Central and not just make a little itty bitty circle, and I think that's all because of all of the groups from the high school that we never had before. And to see all of that, I like being in the front of the parade so I can get off and watch the rest of the parade come in, but I wish I could have been like in the middle of Central watching it as the kids were doing their stuff coming down Central. But it was a great event, and it's going to continue to grow every year. So, and it's a lot of fun riding down Central in the Mini. So.
If I could point
With
out,
my friend, Mr. Pombo.
I was sad to miss the marching band. That would have been, if I could have been in the crowd this year, that's the one thing I would love to have seen. Was this was the first year with our high school marching band, and I was sad to have missed them because they were out front, and I'm number 12. I don't rank that high, folks. So it was. That's the one thing I would really
Wait a minute,
enjoy.
I was 14.
Wow, who did you rank that? Dang.
And I, too, would like to echo the need for a theater and other facilities at our high school. As far as the 4th of July parade goes, I enjoyed it very much, enjoy it every year. Again, this year, like last year, my ride did not show up, so I had to hitch a ride with Trustee Lampel, which was fine. I enjoyed riding in the Mini Cooper, but
The best car in the whole parade. By
The
a
dune
vote.
buggy was pretty cool last year.
I enjoyed the dune buggy.
very well, thank you. Moving on to action items. Consider approval of participation in the San Joaquin County Outdoor Education Program.
This is the science camp program that we do for our kids every year.
I move we approve participation in the San Joaquin County Outdoor Ed Program.
Second.
Colin,
Colin.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, approval consider of updated 2015-2016 intra-district transfer requests.
No additional information.
I'll move for approval of the 2015-16 inter and intra-district transfer requests.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of the 2015-2016 Cuesta School fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser to get some backpacks to kids with some supplies and the like, and we needed to get this approved before they can go out and get the work done.
I move we approve the 15-16 Cuesta fundraiser.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, consider approval of contract with Tom Mayo Construction for asphalt repairs.
So I think it was a couple meetings ago where I announced the year that Lammersville School opened. Wickland opened 11 and a half, almost 12 years ago. So we have to start investing in repairing our schools. And Wickland's and these asphalt repairs would be the start of that. But it's odd to think that brand new schools and beautiful communities built not too long ago need maintenance, but that's where we're at. Alvina, do you have anything to add?
Unless you have any questions.
Well, my reading of it, and I could be wrong, that the Wickland repairs are a lot slurry more than anything else, right? It's really just a lot of,
Correct. It's just more.
it's a
Grounds to
pretty
cover.
good sized parking lot compared to the Lammersville parking lot.
Yes.
So that was my understanding of it. So
And
they
everything,
did a pretty good job building it because it's not a whole lot of potholes.
No.
and everything seemed routine and that we went through all the proper procedures. So I'll move for consideration for approval of the contract with Tom Mayo Construction for asphalt repairs at Lammersville and Wickland.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, calendar. Wednesday, August 5th will be our next regular governing board meeting at 7 PM right here. Thursday, August 6th is the new hire orientation and luncheon. Monday and Tuesday, August 10th and 11th are staff development days. There's no school for the kids. And Wednesday, August 12th is the first day of the 2015-2016 school year.
4.5 weeks. I feel like I need to wax poetic because we can't possibly go into closed session after 25 minutes.
Yes,
so-
we can. I move for adjournment to closed session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned to closed session. Thank you all.
Notice that the time that Matt is gone, we get through it in 20.